Why, hello everybody. Welcome back to another brand new video. And today's video, I actually wanted to get to the video at this point and get on with this anyway. Well, since it's been like, I don't know, for a couple times I probably would want to say something a bit interesting, about something was way back. Something I probably almost had remembered when I was pretty much in my school times, pretty much, which was the game called I actually played before was called Coolmath Games. Now, in this story about Coolmath Games, well, let's just say that Coolmath Games was a pretty interesting way to kind of like express to play whatever that anybody feels free to play on, which for those who have played Coolmath Games, well, in this answer, I've recently played Coolmath Games, which it's a pretty interesting kind of a site, but the only thing is like what really happened to Coolmath Games. Well, there has been like two sides of the point, which was the good version of Coolmath Games and the bad version of Coolmath Games. So, in this answer alone, by the way, this is just my expression of how I thought how interesting Coolmath Games was really was back then. Back in my time, exactly when I actually did never even heard of Coolmath Games exactly when it was like back in my high school year, which that's pretty much the point exactly, which, this is just only a bit like less information that I'm only referring to just as Coolmath Games, just for that answer. So that's all I wanted to kind of go on about and talk about this anyway, because I just want to kind of feel free to just like have an expression and talk about what I have to talk about, what Coolmath Games was really like exactly of how interesting the game was of the site. So let me tell you guys this. So Coolmath Games is like a site, by the way, that you could actually like, play interesting games on it while you're in class, which I know this is just less boring. I understand that. I completely understand the point, but this is just a bit of an expression I really wanted to kind of talk about exactly and just have it done and have it over with. That's the only reason I wanted it completely talked about. So, anyways, the moral of the story is, by the way, that I think Cool Math Games, for me personally, was actually pretty adventurous. It was actually pretty adventurous by any chance, which was actually a pretty good site, to be very honest with y'all. That the site was actually pretty good before, what really pretty much happened. That I think at some point again, that, I think the site by day, by year and year, it actually was hit different. It hit pretty much differently. And oh yeah, I did recently watch a YouTuber's video, by the way. I recently watched about something that really happened about Cool Math Games for some reason, which and most likely I will say again was that like, yeah, it was just a bit like, that's interesting. So the point is, by the way, that Cool Math Games was really like really something. Like, it was like really something to everybody. It was like very much something to everybody. So the point that to say again, it was a bit of an interesting site at first, which whenever I was recently gonna play a game on Cool Math Games, like remember this, it was back in my school time. It was back in my school time recently, whenever it was already over, which I think to say it was back way back backwards, by the way, just backwards. So again, by the way, I usually never talk about some interesting stuff before I would have wanted to say something because, it might be something important to remind everybody or currently my real Devin-Foxy fans to just kind of know what was really going on, like exactly what was really like of what was going on about the site name Cool Math Games. So, for those again who still play Cool Math games, by the way, is that yeah, I hope that you guys still enjoy playing Cool Math games. And recently, for me, by the way, I've recently played Cool Math games when I was like back in my school time exactly. But for me, I never even played it anymore. But at the point again to say now exactly, it would be very interesting for something in my mind exactly if I probably would be thinking so, but at this time and answer again, as I would say, I kind of would save it for a memory and save it for a good cause. A good cause of a memory that I would really want to go on and talk about that anyway. So, that's all I want to talk about. And oh yeah, by the way, I actually played Run 3 before. I've literally played the third game that was Run 3, Run first, second, and third. So yeah, it was pretty good game. It was a pretty good game. And trust me, I've played Run 3 before. And a friend of mine actually inspired me to actually play that game, which it was a friend of mine back in school that I'm just not going to say the person's name because I really don't want to, like, I don't know, get in trouble or anything. But, the person actually was very nice just to let me play the game exactly and just learn how I have to play the game. When I was like literally in school though, I still did pretty good. I just meet the sound by the way because I was still paying attention a little bit even though I still didn't like school. Then yeah, I still paid attention and I still muted the game and pretty much listened otherwise, which like I said, for me, I was going through hell a little bit, lots of different times, but I still continued to keep enjoying what I was doing exactly. And yes, apparently I was watching YouTube videos back in school as well, just watching YouTube stuff I was watching exactly, which was way back in my time, for example. So that's just the fact of it. So, anyways, that's all I want to let you guys know about, and that's all I want to tell you guys about is that the reason of Cool Math Games turned out to be a pretty interesting site before it went all the way forward in the present. That it was like, what really even happened to Cool Math Games, bruh? What really even happened to it? Which, that is a very good question I may never have spoken before in my life, which I recently never spoken it before until I even did a live stream doing Run 3 exactly. I think it was back on StreamYard or for whatever exactly, which I was like, bro, I actually almost effing remembered. Like, I almost had a bit of good memory, almost close enough to remember the site called Cool Math Games. And I was like, holy freaking shit, I can't believe I remembered it. So, that was pretty much the explanation I wanted to kind of get bypassed on exactly. And I was like, bro, no freaking way. I was like, no freaking way. So, but in the meantime, I actually enjoyed the game and I actually just enjoyed what I was doing. And I think Cool Math Games was a pretty, very decent game and was very fantastic. It was like way back in the past, it was very, very good. But whatever it was like in the present now, by the way, these days, Cool Math Games somehow was a question mark that we may have never knew about what was even happening with Cool Math Games, which trust me, for those again who want to find a video of a YouTuber, I did recently add the like button apparently on the person's video, then recently go ahead and check out and type out the name called What Happened to Cool Math Games. So if you do that, by the way, it'll show you a bit of results to show you what really happened about Cool Math Games. So, if I were you guys right now, go ahead and check out the video and support the person's video. That would still be incredibly amazing. So, that's just my story, and that's just my reason to you guys of what really happened to Cool Math Games. And my story version is like, about was way back in my time just to kind of understand about Cool Math Games, which I think it was a pretty good game. It was pretty good. It had lots of games. It really recently had lots of games in Cool Math Games. Literally, it had a lot. So, anyway, otherwise to say so that I have to pretty much wrap this up and sign off anyways. And this is just only a 10-minute video or maybe somewhere like I don't know, 20-minute video of this conversation of me mentioning about the story of Coolmath Games, which this is just my opinion. That's just it. That's just my opinion. That's all. Of what really happened to Coolmath Games. So, I hope that you guys definitely, in fact, enjoyed this video. And please remember to do so is give this video a like, comment, subscribe, hit the bell to be notified. That way you guys absolutely, and I mean absolutely, will not miss a single video that comes onto my main channel and my separate channels. So that being said, thank you all for enjoying this video, and I'm going to wrap this up anyways. So take care, peace out, and signing right off, and I'll see you guys absolutely in the next video. Talk to you later, and signing right out. Peace on out. Bye-bye, everyone, and see you next time.